Hey everybody, welcome back to Ogre Speed Shop. So unfortunately, we are going to be in troubleshooting mode because the truck is making a loud ticking noise on acceleration. And I just had my wife out here and rubbing it up for me, and it suddenly is coming from underneath the passenger side valve cover. So we're going to be turning into that and seeing what's going on. Maybe we broke a spring, bad rocker, hopefully not a bad lifter because I don't want to deal with that. But yep, so we're going to get turned into that, see what's going on. So first things first, I'm gonna get this thing off the ramps. I put it up there in order to look for a problem, but in case I had to go under it. But now it's too tall for me to work on. I don't want to break my back, so let me get it off the ramps. All right, so I'm gonna fire it up. I don't know if it's gonna come across in the video or not. And the dick's being loud. If we can hear it on video or not, hopefully we can. Earlier when my wife was out here helping me out, I could barely hear it until I got the stethoscope out. So I'm going to fire it up and see if we can hear it on camera. I couldn't hear it that time either. I think I heard it once. I'll have to check the video, see if anything comes out. But I think I'm gonna take it for a test drive. See if it doesn't want to drive it. It has something to do with having a load on it, I don't know. But I tested it the other day, revving it, and it made the noise, but now for whatever reason it's not making the noise. So I don't know what that's going on. Take it for a drive just to see if it makes the noise while we're out. I had to get it past all the shakes and shimmies in the driveway to see if it makes some noise or not. There it is. Yeah, I'm definitely hearing it. Let me see if I can make it, you guys hear it. Like I said, it's down on power too. I don't know. It's not throwing any codes, so I don't know. This thing is like being screwy. Just gotta dig into it and see if I can figure it out. Okay, just sitting here idling. No noise. You hear that? Okay, so it's coming from down below by the sounds of it. So I'm gonna see if I can do this by myself without my wife being out here. I used a broom to hit the gas earlier, so let's try that again. But listen. That's pretty obvious now. I think it's coming from underneath the car, the truck. So I gotta get her back out here again and have her do it again and get hot and by the exhaust and all that good stuff. See if I can figure out where that noise is coming from. Hopefully it's not the bottom end of the motor. Hopefully it's a catalytic converter that's gone bad or something. I don't know. All right, so getting up underneath the truck here. I don't know how well I'll be able to show this or not. But this oil leak is new. Get it in there. Yeah, see if I can focus it a little bit better. That wasn't there a couple days ago. It looks like it's coming from above the starter, but not from above the heads. So I'm gonna pull the starter off and see what I see behind that. I thought maybe it was a rear main seal, but that wouldn't explain all that oil on the starter bolt. So I'm gonna pull the starter off and see what I find behind that. Maybe it's something as simple as the freaking reluctor wheels hitting the cams or crank sensor, but I don't think it would run at all if it had a bad crank sensor or a broken crank sensor, or I don't know yet. We'll find out. Let's get that thing pulled off there. Okay, I'm gonna try to get a little better sound for the video of what it sounds like. Don't know if it's gonna work or not, but we'll give it a try either way.
So now I'm gonna let it cool down so I can pull the starter off and see where all this oil's coming from. Right here, I don't know, it's just all of a sudden pouring out from somewhere. So that's definitely not a good thing. But hopefully it's something simple, which I doubt. I don't know how well you'll be able to see me removing the starter, but the cable's held in with a 13. It's a 13. Sounds about right. And the ignition wire is a 8mm, I believe. So I'm gonna remove those first. And I'll pull the starter out after that. I'm trying to drop that one. All right, so that wire's off. I got two 15 or two 15mm bolts. Maybe a 13. All right, got some loud noises coming in. At least this one's well lubricated. And out she comes. Oh, there was. Okay, I have no idea where the oil's coming from. I guess it still could be the rear main or just the oil pan gasket. I guess it's just the oil pan gasket. All right, we're up underneath the truck here. I just want to show everybody all the oil, how wet it is right there behind the starter. Kind of looks like it's leaking from the maybe the oil pan, or maybe even higher up, these freaking side bolts for the well, I can't think what they're called. The things that hold the crank in. So I don't know. Maybe it's just might just be an oil pan gasket. So it looks like we're doing an oil pan gasket one way or another, but yep. Good thing is this cross member right here, it just unbolts and comes out. And the only other thing that might be in the way is the steering rack. So I think probably the next thing is going to be doing an oil pan gasket on this thing. I'm going to clean it up real quick and just see if I can figure out where the oil is coming from. All right, so I got that area cleaned up pretty good. So I do want to start it up just to see where the oil might be coming from, which is I put the starter and everything back in. But I thought maybe it might be coming from the crank sensor, but it definitely isn't. And yeah, I went ahead and cleaned up this side as well. A little bit better than what it was. So we'll see. Still worried about it being a cracked flywheel or cracked flex plate, but that's wishful thinking, to be honest. Although I swear I see a crack right there. It's probably just a streak of something though. I don't know. We'll take a look at it and see. We'll look at it again on this side. So I've been all over this thing trying to figure out where the sound's coming from. It seems to be most predominant right between like number 4 and number 6 cylinders here. So I'm going to pull the valve cover off, see if make sure there's not a broken spring or rocker or something, and we'll go from there. But even like from underneath, using the stethoscope, it sounds more like it's coming from up here. And even though you hear it better from under the car, which is really weird. But as I move my stethoscope up into the like manifold area, it got louder. So I don't know. I'm going to start with the valve covers and go from there. And maybe even check the spark plugs, because it seems like it's even coming from like around this area here, around the spark plug itself. So maybe there's something loose there. I don't know. We're going to play around with it and check a few things. So since the upper part of the motor is a lot easier to work with, I'm going to go ahead and change the valve cover gaskets anyways, because it needs it. So we're going to check with that first and see if we find a broken spring or a bad rocker or something, or maybe a bad lifter. So let's get into it. Alright, so we got the coil packs off, and I really hate engineers, because who puts a bolt all the way back there to mount the coil packs to, right up against the firewall with a stud-ended style bolt. So we got the coil pack off. I just got to clean it up. I'm going to blow it out because I'm going to have to replace some of this wire loom too. You see how it's missing all the wire loom. So I'll repair all that too while I'm in here. But first we got to find this noise. So let's get that valve cover off. All right, so we got mostly cleaned up. I just wanted to clean up around the edges so it didn't dump a bunch of dirt inside the valve or the inside the head when I pull the valve cover off. So now it's just 4 bolts and it comes right off. And we'll replace the valve cover gaskets no matter what. But hopefully we find a broken spring, a bad rocker, possibly a bent push rod, something that's making it rattle inside here. And Dick's finally joining us. So, well, let's get that valve cover off. You know, there's a hose on here too. Gotta get that off. Alright, so we got that off. Anything obvious? Of course not. Yeah, I didn't really think it'd be as easy just pulling the valve cover off and but get the valve cover off at least. I'm going to check it out a little bit, see if I find anything. Go ahead and just pull the rockers off since they're shaft mounted anyways. Well, kind of shaft mounted, but just to make sure that there's nothing wrong with those and just to rule them out. So we'll do that next. It's kind of cool once you actually get these all loose, and you can just grab the whole assembly and pull the whole thing out just like that, and they all stay together. So go ahead and just pull each one of the push rods, just check them, just make sure none of them are bent. Yeah, all the push rods are good. I can't really tell by the lifters. It's one of the times I wish I had a scope of some sort, but I don't. So we're going to check the springs a little closer just to be sure they're okay. If there was a broken one, it'd move pretty easily in here. And they aren't, so I don't think there's any problem. Yeah, exactly what I figured. There isn't a problem with the rockers or the valve springs. Could still be a lifter. Those are harder to look at because you got to pull the heads. Sometimes I miss small block Chevys. So I got the rockers out and I checked them all. I don't really think any of them are, they look loose, but I don't think it's beyond what it should be or could be causing the problem. So I'm gonna put everything back together, change the valve cover gaskets and all that good stuff since I got them, and check the driver's side. But I don't know, I think it's probably down further in the motor, either the lifters or a rod. I don't know, we'll see. All right, so I got the passenger side valve cover back on. Like I said, I didn't find nothing with the rockers or springs or anything on that side. And I just gotta pull this side off just to change the valve cover gasket. I don't know. We'll see what happens if I find anything over there. And I'm not ready to pull the pan off to check the rods yet because I want to have a motor standing by if I do have to replace it. So we'll see what comes of that when I get to it. I may pull the pan, I don't know yet, but as of right now, we're just gonna get these back together, get the new valve cover gaskets on it, and go from there. All right, I got the truck all back together. New valve cover gaskets are installed now. I cleaned up the valve covers, obviously, when they were off. Problem's not the top end, so it's either gonna be lifters or a rod knock. However, I can't take it apart right now because I still need it. It's still drivable, it just makes noise. Probably gonna make it worse, but I need it for hauling stuff, so should only be delayed about a week, hopefully.
But I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna need a new motor yet. But yeah, it's back together now. And I got to go take a trash run, so that's why we're back together. So I got back from taking trash, but still making the noise, and it gets louder with RPM. Once I hit speed, it's fine. I can't hear it at all. But it's obviously on the top end, but at least we got the valve cover gaskets replaced, even though we probably got to take them back off again to tear into it to see if it's the lifters. But the first thing we're going to start with before that is we're going to pull the oil pan, since it's actually easier than pulling the heads. So we're going to do that and see if we see anything underneath there. Hopefully it's not a rod. I'd rather it be a lifter, to be honest with you, even though it's more work to get to. But that's going to pretty much do it for this video, and we'll get into a second part, troubleshooting and looking for the problem. This video for now until we figure out. I don't know. I'm at a point where it's just like I'm gonna look for a new motor just in case, so I have one on standby. They're not that expensive. There's quite a few around here, at least what I've found on Facebook Marketplace. Whether or not they're real or not, we'll find out. But you know, I need something to be able to pick it up, and it does run and drive. It just makes a little bit of rattling noise. The oil pressure stays fine, doesn't overheat or nothing, so I'm not too worried about it right now. It's annoying making that clattering noise. But if you like this video, give me a like down there. Leave me a comment. Let me know what I can do better. And subscribe while you're at it. Like I said, there's going to be another part getting in the oil pan and seeing if we can maybe find a loose rod or something. Maybe we can just replace a bearing and be happy. But I don't know. Well, until next time, I will see y'all later.